That's right, kids. Good morning. I'm Goldie. Welcome. I have these questions, man, because I don't want to be a complete sheep, and that's why. When it comes to the Holy Grail Les Pauls, what really truly is good about them, apart from, of course, the excellent examples, right? Because when I play this guitar, right, a lot of people believe that, oh man, the R9s of today, they can never compare to the real 59s, or the reissues today can never compare to the Holy Grails of back in the day. Obviously, because it's a different time. The problem is there, I weigh it down, right? When I believe that the Holy Grail Les Pauls are good, and when I start to believe that, wait a minute, the modern ones can be pretty good too. Probably as good, even, I would dare say. The only reason the Holy Grails are the prices that you see today is just because supply and demand. It's nothing magical about them. It's just that there's only this much of them, and then this much of people that want them, probably even more. Supply and demand, basic economics, you fool. The reason I've been questioning this is because of the guitars that I have, the excellent guitars that I had, especially this one, right? This is a 2000 R9. It's not the true historic. I played a handful of R9s which are available to me in my area, just to see what the hype was about compared to the standard that I had. I tried those Murphy Labs, and while they were good, it wasn't really, whoa, I need to save up. But with this R9 VOS from 2000, I had that magical feeling. You know that feeling when you play guitar, you just do something like, or do some kind of lay like, and then instantly it clicks. I got that feeling for this guitar, but for some reason did not get that feeling from all the other reissues of Les Pauls that I played. Obviously, there's going to be the modern day Les Pauls that are going to be giving me that feeling, but I don't have access to them. But I have this, and it's pretty lightweight. I don't know, 4 kilos to me is 3.9 kilos to me is pretty light. Has a beautiful top on it, like a slightly wavy kind of flame, and a good color. Immaculate condition. Even Joe Bonamassa was hesitant to try to go for the Holy Grail Les Pauls. It took a bit of convincing for him to try out a real 59 or whatever it was, until he tried it, and then he caught the bug, and then the rest is history. He got a hold of a friend's vintage Les Paul, Holy Grail, and he thought it was just another R9. I think it was him. It was one of his interviews from Music Is Wins podcast. I forgot. No Charge podcast or something, whatever it was. He was saying that he just thought it was just an R9 because it was so immaculate. He didn't think it was an actual 50s Les Paul. I think it was a 59 or 58, whatever. But you get my point, right? For this video, I'm just going to use like a 59 Les Paul because that's where the attention mainly is concentrated to. So the 59 Les Pauls, okay, what's good about them really? We're going to break it down. So the wood, right? Old growth wood. Something to do with the woods that they used for the Les Pauls, for the 59 Les Pauls, was so old, where the tree was cut long before they made the guitar. Years, perhaps even decades before they used the wood for guitar, which had a lot of drying. Now, naturally drying the wood over time, over that vast amount of time, versus drying it in a hot room, like how they do it now, getting the humidity of the wood down to, what is it, less than 5%? Like some kind of one digit the one digit percentage of moisture in the wood. Do you actually know the difference between wood that's dried over a vast amount of time and wood that's been dried with the hot room? Can you actually quantify the difference of that? Most of you 59 burst fanatics out there, even most of you who are experts in the 59 bursts, because one of the things that shocked me about this R9 is the resonation of the wood. And this has probably been dried. This is 2000, so I think that that time was they had amazing wood, right? The 90s and early 2000s. And this one, the resonation is very strong. I swear, I thought this was chambered or it was some kind of hollow because of how it resonates, bro. Right? But I'm pretty sure all R9s are hollow. I mean, solid. I don't know. That thing that's rattling is this thing here. Pretty sure it's solid, man. Even the R9s back in the day, they would probably have varying degrees of resonations, of liveliness of the body. A lot of people even have said that back in the day, a lot of 59s were good, a lot of 59s were amazing, and a lot of them were dogs. So that bit is the same as today. Good guitars are amazing guitars and they're dogs. So what are we talking about? Back then they didn't have the technology like we did, like the room drying. I don't know, maybe they had some kind of hot room drying method. Who knows? 59 Les Pauls and R9s, they both have varying degrees of weight, right? So it's really hard to make comparisons between a 59 and an R9, because whatever the difference is between a 59 and an R9, right? You can find those differences within that group, within the R9s, within the 59s, within the R9s. They have those kind of variations anyway. So I'm trying to talk about really the main differences that really matter here. I was about to say the nut. However, when you're playing like this, right? Or chords here, that takes the nut out of the picture. The nut really only matters if you're playing. Right? Chords that have a lot of open strings. So I don't get these people who are saying just, oh man, the bow nut is the best, the nylon nut is the best. Bro, how much of the, with you playing, what percentage of the time when you're playing involves the nut? Right? Most of the time you're noodling anyway. Or doing bar chords. Power chords. You know, probably playing it for some kind of palmuty. Doesn't involve the nut. The nut on this R9 could be plastic for all I care. Didn't stop me from buying it. Didn't care about it. I'm curious about the frets though. I mean, for all you watching this and listening, surely, man, surely there's gonna be at least one of you there who has played a real 59, and probably for a good amount of time where you retain the details that you noticed of it, that you, the things that you've observed, you retain that information. I want to know, man. Namely, what were the frets like back then? The fret wire that they were using, were they compared to today? Were they what size of the frets? You know, the dimensions. What material? Did they stay shiny? Like I haven't polished these frets ever since I bought this guitar, and they still look pretty good. They still look fairly shiny. They probably don't look like mirror shine, mirror polish, but to me they look pretty good still for from here. If I was gonna refret any of my guitars, I'd refret them with stainless steel, man. And then back in the day, the neck shapes of the 59s varied because apparently they didn't really have any real standardized process of shaping the neck. It was more of sanding it by hand until it felt right to whoever was doing it at the time. Probably even the same person in that in the assembly line, and what their mood was that day, how switched on they were, all these factors, right? The pickups, apparently they just wound them until they were full. I don't really actually know if they wound them by time or if they just really just wounded them until they were full, or they just eyeballed it. Oh, that looks like it'll be alright. That looks alright. Okay, stop. That's why the R9s they varied in sound so wildly. On top of the potentiometers having different values, which affects the tone. Even if each path was complete clones of each other, super. Let's say for argument's sake they were exactly the same, but the differences of sound will be accounted for by the value of the pots. But yeah, wound till it's full, and then the pots were whatever they were at the time. That's really all they did. Like apparently the magnets, they just ordered magnetic material or something, like magnetic material, and a lot of stuff that they did was influenced by the automobile industry. The bridge, and maybe one of the bigger differences that I might, if I, hopefully one day I'll be able to play an actual 59 Les Paul, or a 58, 50 or 57. Don't really care about the 60s for their super thin necks, or the 50, I think it was the 54, or whichever one that just has this. It doesn't have the two-piece bridge, just the one-piece bridge. But I think the bridge will have a pretty good difference because it's where the strings are laying and it's so close to where you're picking. Because even the location of where you're picking makes a difference in sound, because I noticed how I normally pick is up here, like this, right? But I've seen people like Slash, their hand is all the way here, right? They're in this area here while I'm in here, because I always want to be ready for palm mutes. And then other people are there, like I think Zach Wild as well does it. He's in here, sometimes picking here, and Slash. And so when you're picking, the sound is different. From here, and I move it back, it gets the twang kind of softens. It gets more ow. You hear that? Let's put some pickup in it. hear it. And then apparently the bridges in those times, I forgot what they were made of. I've never heard of that term before, but I think with the R9s now, they're using like some kind of zinc alloy, and then the saddles are brass or something, and then this one is some lightweight aluminum, and then the pneumatic bridge is screwed directly into the body, ABR1. Now, whether ABR1 versus Nashville, there's really truly a difference in tone, probably for another time, because I don't care about that. I care more about how the bridge feels under my palm, right? Because that's where it's resting. The pickups in this, you got the 57 Classics, probably even 57 Plus. I've yet to really find out what these humbuckers are, but they're probably 57 Classics because I don't really want to mess with it. The strings haven't broken on me. When they break, when I replace the strings, I'm gonna do some stuff to it. I'm gonna wax the fingerboard, and I'll see what's this. So back to the pickups. Yeah, they probably just wound it till it's full. They eyeballed it, and then they. That's the thing is with the perception. On one day they think that's full, and then the next day, less winds, they see it as full, right? That's the same person will have probably a varying pickup. What do you call it? Varying result. Probably even in the same day, they just decide, oh, you know what? I think the last one was too full, and it's a bit hard to tape up the winds. My next pickup, I'm gonna wind it less, so that make it easier for me. Whereas in the modern ones, they're probably doing a similar thing with the custom buckers and those ultra expensive the ones that Gibson is coming out nowadays with. Probably still doing the similar thing, but today there's actual machines now that are counting the winds. Even with the while the machine is winding and you're holding the wire and doing this to cover the entire, as it's turning, it cover the entire coils. I don't know to what degree that matters. Like if you have to have a perfect movement like that, or if it's like you're being erratic. Who knows how much really that's gonna scatter wound, or whatever the other term is for when they're making it proper. At the end of the day, if there was a dead 59 Les Paul and then they scavenged the parts, they took the pickups. Let's say I took the pickups from that guitar, including all of its electronics, everything. From maybe not the jack, but the pots, the capacitors, the capacitors. Put all of it in this guitar. This guitar will probably sound like that 59 Les Paul. Probably. The other thing is the finish. Perhaps the 59 Les Pauls will feel better than the R9s because of there's no plasticizers on the nitro, and just the natural age of the 59's nitro will feel different than an artificially aged or today's methods of aging. Like this is a 2000 R9, and I think the finish is a little bit stickier compared to my McCarty SC594. And this finish is probably a 25-year-old finish because the guitar is from 2000. Assuming this hasn't been resprayed, which I doubt it has been. It's just probably a case queen all its life, just bought as some kind of investment. So yeah, I could probably grant that. The 59 Les Pauls will probably have a better feeling finish on your hand, depending on if you like a slightly stickier neck for whatever reason, probably a valid reason. It helps you be stable. If you like a finish that is more satin feeling, so that you slide up and down the neck easier, more seamlessly. So I get that difference. I can understand that. The components, the switch, It's just a switch. Probably well-made switch as well. Feels good to the touch, the knobs that they use. The jack feels secure. Feels high quality, feels secure. One of the other big things as well is the pots. Because the taper from 59, from the pots that they used back then, and the taper of the pots today, I don't know how different they will be. Personally, I'm pretty happy with it. Granted, I don't really use I don't do the Bonamassa volume swell violin effect. Probably not the best tape. I can hear the zero, and then it's not quite a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 100. It's more like a 0, 10, and then 0, 10, 11, 12, right? If you can hear it, it doesn't. It's not true swell. Listen to that reverb, man. On the bridge. Granted, it's probably not as smooth as like a 59 Les Paul's pot taper, but that's okay. The other thing is the tone pots, because back in the day that oil in paper capacitors or whatever they were using back then. This one they're just using some kind of ceramic capacitor, some cheap green ones. I don't know what they are. I don't care. I don't use it. But of course, someone else probably uses it. I don't know what are you looking for in a tone taper, in a tone pot taper, in regards to the capacitors. Something's wrong with this pot. I don't know. I don't use it. I just like everything on full. I don't know what else, man. Like, well, let's say you got your best R9, and then you got a nice 59 Les Paul that was in, let's say, good condition. What if you were blindfolded? Because you know the 59s back in the day, their sound wasn't their sound meant to be like a super telly? This one doesn't have that sound, I believe. I think it's more of a chunky Les Paul sound, more than a super telly sound. Because I think the 57 Classics, I consider that as a hot path. If you're blindfolded and oh, they sound magical. If you're blindfolded and then you heard a 59 and an R9 side by side, you weren't playing it. Someone else was playing it. So all it's about is the ear, which is what really probably 50% of what matters, because the other 50% is the feel, right? Or the feel. Do you think you'll be able to tell? I'm probably going to be overconfident in saying this, but I think this Les Paul will stand up to a 59. And the reason I say that is because it's very lively and resonant. It's very playable because the frets are so nice on this. Looks amazing. Yeah. Pickups sound good. It's light. Not super light, but light for Les Paul. I don't know, dude. As far as I know, if I really think about it, and if you really thought about it too, you'd probably think, okay, well, the 59 Les Paul is really only good for investment if you're not going to be playing it. If you're touring like Joe Bonamassa or someone touring very regularly and taking it out, using it on the road regularly. If you're sharing it with the world through content, perhaps you're monetizing the guitar, you're making money off it like that, through that way or through other ways. If you're actually genuinely rich, like really rich, if you're that rich where buying a 59 burst just feels like buying a Chinese pedal, that's one good reason for it. There's no magic in it, bro. There are probably some... Look, we humans, we ridicule because there are things that are ridiculous, right? And so with that, I think that there are actually going to be some people who bought a 59 Les Paul, maybe multiple, and then they're looking at places to validate their purchases, because they probably don't really utilize that guitar for the reasons that we've talked about: investment, heavily touring, content, sharing it with content, or just buying it because it's peanuts to you, genuinely. If I was so rich, I'll probably end up getting a 59 Les Paul. If I became a rich musician, I would probably still be careful. Maybe I'll come across a 59. I'll still be assessing it, auditioning it like I do. It has to pass a certain standard. I'm not sure if I can buy it if it was lesser than this R9. I don't know, man. Back then were simpler times where I was not even interested in the Gibson, and I was very happy with my Les Paul copy, my Tanglewood. I thought that guitar was the shit. And I thought the same of the ESP Eclipse that I had. The 4-knob ESP Eclipse. And then of course the PRS Custom 22. And then this R9. I want to know, man. I want to know from at least one of you who's played a 59 Les Paul thoroughly. Maybe even one of you can let me play your 59 Les Paul if you're based in Sydney, Australia. But that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to question these things, because I just don't want to completely succumb into total sheepness. And I hope you don't too. Think for yourselves. But thank you for listening and thank you for watching. I've been Goldie. GM.